Hi guys, Casual Game Guy back with another Cardfight video update. Today we're going to take a look at the top 3 decks that placed 1, 2, and 3 at the New York Regional Qualifier in White Plains, New York. Taking up the rear is our number 3rd deck, Amato Dark Irregular build by Guillermo Everett. Now this deck primarily focused on pre-generation cards. It pretty much had no generation break units in it, and that's because the deck itself is kind of old. There really hasn't been any Dark Irregular support for Amato, at least in the last couple of sets. So to say that it got this far proves the incredible amount of talent that Mr. Everett had in order to get that far. It also utilized the Stride plus Legion mechanic, which is very popular right now because while you Stride, you can get 4 units back in your deck if you happen to run out of Stride units. Otherwise, you're going to pretty much play the deck straight. And again, it takes an incredible amount of skill in order to top 3. Looking at number 2, we've got Revengers by Nicholas Amato, who also used the Stride plus Legion mechanic in the form of Phantom Blaster Abyss and Phantom Blaster Diablo for big criticals, which pretty much stopped your opponent from guarding, and then later on, putting more units back into the deck overall. This result isn't exactly surprising considering it's been dominating all over Asia for their spring fights all over since the last couple of months. And it's just a really reliable, consistent deck. It's got consistent rides, and it's got the same consistent units throughout. So we'll see if this deck evolves, as well as the Amato deck, see if they evolve throughout the rest of the tournament season, and see what kind of damage they're actually capable of putting out. Because I really do think that Revengers is going to be, or at least Shadow Paladin is going to be one of the top decks, probably, number 2 or 3 throughout the entire run of regional qualifiers, if not throughout World Championships. So we'll see how that goes. And the biggest upset that I did not see coming was a Great Nature build by Chul Shim. Now, this deck utilized absolutely no Legion units and was almost all post-gen cards. I mean, there was 4 to 5 cards from previous booster sets between set 7 and set 16 or 17 that we're all just, from the current generation of cards. We're all from Vanguard G. And this deck utilizes huge pressure columns for just a singular thought of making your opponent overguard, forcing them to perfect guard, whatever you got to do to keep that damage down to a minimum. The only huge drawback to the deck is that some of the units do like to basically cannibalize themselves by obtaining that extra power. But it's pretty much a very balanced, very consistent deck overall that does like to put out huge pressure really quickly, especially in the late games. And I do expect Great Nature, considering how well it did in New York, to continue this trend. It shows that there's this flux going on in the game right now where people are kind of starting to figure out, well, maybe Stride isn't the best mechanic to play. It did take 2 and 3. Maybe it won't top, but it's still a really good mechanic that'll get, 2nd and 3rd place. Or it might just stick around. It might actually do as well, if not better, as it has been doing all over Asia and whatever other events have been held out east and out far east. So, till next time, I'm the Casual Game Guy. Thanks for watching.